Friends, have you ever wondered why some people achieve every goal they set, while others, despite trying again and again, stay stuck in the same place? Is the difference just talent? Is it intelligence? Or is there some hidden power that sets successful people apart from the rest of the world? The truth is that the biggest force that can change our lives is not motivation. It's self-discipline. Motivation can get you started, but discipline is what carries you to the destination. And the most surprising part is that self-discipline isn't some inborn gift. It's a psychological skill that anyone can learn. If you keep postponing your goals, if you know what you should do but still can't do it, if distractions keep destroying your focus and productivity, this video is for you. Today we'll dive deep into the psychology of self-discipline and understand why our mind holds us back, how disciplined people think differently, how habits control our behavior, and how small daily actions can change the entire direction of our lives. By the end of this video, you won't just have knowledge about discipline, you'll have a mindset that makes you more committed and focused toward your goals than ever before. So watch this video till the end, because every part ahead is going to be more powerful and eye-opening than the last. If you want more life-changing book summaries and powerful ideas like this from the listening library, subscribe to the channel now, like the video, and write "I choose discipline" in the comments. Now get ready to understand the mental power that can transform your entire life. Chapter 1. Why we resist what we want. Most people in the world lose the biggest battle of their lives not to the outside world, but to their own mind. Think about how many times you've decided, I'll wake up early from tomorrow, I'll exercise every day, I'll focus completely on my studies, or I'll finally start working on some big goal. At that moment, your intention was crystal clear. You truly wanted to change. But when the next day came, something shifted. The alarm rang, but you hit snooze. It was time to start the work, but you said just 5 more minutes. And those 5 minutes slowly turned into the whole day. The question is, why does this happen? If we truly want success, why does our own mind stop us from walking that very path? The answer lies in psychology. Our brain is constantly caught in a struggle between two different forces. One part wants long-term success. It wants us to work hard, stay disciplined, and fulfill our dreams. But the other part of the brain only wants comfort. It wants to avoid pain and get instant pleasure. Whenever you have to do something difficult, your brain sees it as a threat, so it shows you the easy way out. Open social media, rest a little, we'll start tomorrow. And slowly these small excuses start controlling our entire life. This is why the biggest enemy of self-discipline isn't laziness. Its real enemy is instant gratification. Our brain is naturally drawn to whatever feels good right now, whether that's scrolling on the phone, unnecessary entertainment, or putting off work. Research shows that when we get an instant reward, the brain releases dopamine, and this chemical forces us to repeat that same behavior again and again. That's why distractions feel so powerful. But here's an interesting point. Successful people aren't born with a different brain. Their only secret is that they don't become slaves to their emotions. When they don't feel like working, they still work. When they feel like resting, they still remember their commitments. They understand that feelings are temporary, but decisions shape the future. Imagine your mind as a battlefield. On one side stands your future self, who wants a better life. On the other side stands your present self, who just wants comfort. Every day and every decision, there's a battle between the two, and gradually, whichever side you keep supporting becomes stronger. If you keep choosing comfort every time, comfort becomes your habit. If you keep choosing discipline every time, discipline becomes your identity. This is where real change begins, because self-discipline doesn't mean punishing yourself. It means valuing your future so much that you can say no to temporary pleasure. But the question still remains. If our brain naturally runs toward comfort, can it be changed? Is there a way to make discipline stop feeling like a struggle and instead become part of our identity? The answer is yes. And that secret is coming up next. Chapter 2. Building the identity of a disciplined person. What if I told you that to change your life, you don't need to change your habits, you need to change your identity? At first, this might sound strange, But this is the secret most people never understand. They keep trying to change their behavior again and again while leaving their identity exactly the same. And that's why their change never lasts long. Because a person ultimately becomes whatever they believe about themselves. Just think, if someone believes they're lazy, then even if they work hard for a few days, when a difficult time comes, they'll slip right back into that old behavior. Because in their mind, their identity is still the same. On the other hand, if someone believes they're a disciplined person, they won't drop their commitment even when they're tired. Because for them, discipline isn't a task. It's already part of their personality. This is why the real beginning of self-discipline starts not with action, but with belief. Your mind always tries to match your identity. If you keep telling yourself, I can't focus, your brain will find ways to prove that statement true. But if you start saying, I'm someone who keeps their promises, your behavior will gradually start to change too. Here's a small story. Two people decided they would run every morning. The first person said, I'm trying to run. The second person said, I am a runner. The difference in their words was small, but the difference in psychology was huge. The first person was just doing an activity. The second person was building an identity. A few weeks later, the first person slipped back into old habits, while the second kept moving forward. Because when behavior becomes identity, consistency becomes easy. Here's an important fact. The human brain builds identity through repetition. Every time you take a small disciplined action, you give your brain new proof. When you wake up on time, you prove to yourself that you're committed. When you ignore a distraction, you tell yourself you're focused. When you finish a task despite difficulty, you strengthen a new identity within yourself. Notice that you don't need to change your entire life in a single day. Identity is built through small decisions. Every time you make the right decision, you make your future self a little stronger. This is why successful people focus not on perfection, but on consistency. They know every small win is a brick in their new personality. But another challenge shows up here. Say you've started building a disciplined identity. The world is still full of distractions. Notifications, social media, negative emotions, and old habits will keep pulling at your attention every day. In that case, a new identity alone won't be enough. You'll also need to shape your environment in your favor. And that's exactly where the next secret of self-discipline comes in. A secret that decides whether your environment will help you succeed or slowly weaken every resolution you make. Chapter 3. Winning the War Against Impulse. Imagine two doors in front of you. The first door opens right now and gives you instant pleasure, comfort, entertainment, social media, everything that feels good in this moment. The second door is closed. To open it, you'll need effort, patience, and often the willpower to hold yourself back. But behind it is the life you've always dreamed of: success, respect, confidence, and freedom. The question is, why do most people choose the first door, even when they know the second one is far more valuable? The answer lies in a deep psychological tendency of our mind called delayed gratification. In simple terms, the ability to give up an instant pleasure in exchange for waiting for a bigger reward in the future. This skill is the foundation of self-discipline, and it's also the biggest difference between successful and unsuccessful people. In a famous experiment, children were given a marshmallow and told that if they didn't eat it for a few minutes, they'd get a second one. Some children couldn't wait and ate it right away, but some held themselves back. Years later, when researchers looked at those children's lives, they found that the ones who had learned to wait went on to become more successful in their studies, careers, and personal lives. This experiment shows something important. Success isn't purely a game of intelligence. Often it comes down to how well you can control your impulses. The problem is that our brain doesn't value future rewards as much as it values present ones. If you had to choose today between an hour of social media and an hour of learning a skill, your brain will often run toward the easier and more enjoyable option because its job is to prioritize survival and comfort. But in the modern world, this same tendency holds back our growth. This is where disciplined people prove different. They learn to ignore their impulses. That doesn't mean they don't feel temptation. They do. The difference is simply that they don't let their emotions control their decisions. They know that every time they say no to instant pleasure, they're saying yes to their future self. Remember one powerful truth: every small choice matters. When you skip unnecessary scrolling and study instead, you're not just making one decision, you're training your brain. When you choose productive action over unhealthy comfort, you're strengthening your willpower muscle. And gradually those actions become part of your identity. But relying only on willpower is also a mistake. Willpower is limited. After making decisions all day, it starts to weaken. That's why people who stay disciplined over the long run don't keep fighting their impulses alone. They build a system around themselves that makes the right decision easy and the wrong decision difficult. This is the secret that turns self-discipline from a struggle into a habit. And here the story reaches a new turning point. If environment and daily systems influence our choices this much, is it possible to design our surroundings so that discipline becomes almost automatic? The answer lies in the next stage, and it could change your behavior forever. Chapter 4. Controlling thoughts, emotions, and habits. Here's an odd thing. Most people think their biggest problem is a lack of discipline. But the truth is, their biggest problem is their environment. And environment here doesn't just mean the place you live. Your environment is the combination of your thoughts, emotions, habits, daily routine, and everything else that influences your decisions every day. Often people think of themselves as weak, when in reality they're living in an environment that keeps pushing them in the wrong direction. Think for a moment. If your phone is in front of you all day, notifications keep coming in, social media is just a click away, and your study table is a mess, how hard will it be to focus? Now imagine the opposite. Your workspace is clean, your phone is on silent, distractions are far away, and all you have in front of you is the work you need to do. Would your behavior be the same in both situations? Absolutely not, because humans aren't shaped only by willpower, but also by their environment. Psychology tells us our brain likes shortcuts. It always wants to do whatever is easiest. If distraction is easy, the brain will choose distraction. If productive work is easy, the brain will move in that direction instead. That's why disciplined people carefully design their environment. They don't just set goals, they build systems that help them reach those goals. But even more powerful than the outer environment is our inner environment, our thoughts and emotions. Often a task doesn't stall because it's difficult. It stalls because of fear, doubt, or stress in our mind. When we feel overwhelmed, we start putting things off. When we're afraid of failure, we never even begin. When we're emotionally exhausted, we start seeking comfort. That's why self-discipline isn't just about controlling actions. It's also about understanding your emotions. One powerful habit is self-awareness. Whenever your mind wants to avoid a task, immediately ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? Sometimes the answer will be boredom, sometimes fear, sometimes laziness. And the moment you name the emotion, it starts to lose its grip, because awareness is the enemy of unconscious behavior. Here's another important point. Habits don't form on their own. Every habit has a trigger, some cue, some situation, some feeling. If you reach for your phone every time you're stressed, stress has become your trigger. If you exercise the moment you wake up, morning has become your trigger. So changing behavior isn't just about changing the habit itself. It's also important to understand its trigger. This is why great achievers don't wait for motivation. They build routines. They don't wait for their emotions to change. They follow systems because they know emotions are temporary, but habits create long-term results. Taking the right action at the same time every day gradually makes discipline automatic. And then one day, you no longer have to force yourself. The right behavior becomes your second nature. But a new question arises here. Once habits become automatic and systems start working, what happens then? Does the journey of discipline end there? Absolutely not, because the real magic begins when small, disciplined actions come together to build a force powerful enough to change the entire direction of your life. And that secret awaits us at the next stop. Chapter 5. Turning consistency into unstoppable momentum. Imagine you're trying to push a heavy boulder up a hill. At first, it feels so heavy that you want to stop at every step. Your breathing gets heavy, your body starts to tire, and your mind says, maybe this isn't for me. But if you keep pushing, something starts to shift. The boulder begins to move. Its speed picks up. And at some point, that same boulder, which was hard even to budget first, starts rolling forward on its own momentum. This same principle applies to self-discipline. Most people think of discipline as something big and difficult. They think they need to change their entire life in a single day. Wake up at 5 a.m., exercise, read books, cut out distractions, and achieve every goal all at once. But this very mindset exhausts them before they even begin. The truth is, the secret of discipline isn't in big actions. It's hidden in small daily actions. There's a powerful rule in human psychology. Small wins create momentum. When you complete a small commitment, your brain sees it as a win. That builds confidence. Confidence makes taking action easier. Easier action leads to results, and results bring motivation right back on their own. This cycle is called the discipline loop. The problem is people often wait for motivation. They think they will start once they feel like it. But reality works the opposite way. Action creates motivation. Motivation doesn't create action. The moment you take the first step, your brain slowly starts accepting that task. That's why successful people don't wait for the perfect mood. They simply begin. Here's an interesting fact. Even the world's most successful athletes, entrepreneurs, and creators don't feel motivated every single day. Sometimes they don't feel like it either. Sometimes they get tired too. But they've understood one thing. Consistency is always more powerful than intensity. If you work 10 hours in one day and then do nothing for the next 10 days, the benefit stays limited. But if you do even just one focused hour every single day, over time the effect can become extraordinary. This is the magic of the compound effect. Small discipline actions don't show big results right away. In the beginning, it feels like nothing is changing at all. But progress is quietly accumulating underneath, like a seed that stays invisible under the ground for a long time, but at the right moment suddenly grows into a tree. Discipline's results build up slowly too, and then one day people suddenly see what looks like overnight success. But there's a warning here too. Momentum works in both directions. Just as positive habits build positive momentum, procrastination and excuses build negative momentum. Every time you break a commitment, taking the right action next time gets a little harder. That's why the real power of discipline isn't in perfection, it's in returning quickly. If you miss a day, start again the next. Never let 2 days in a row slip. And as this momentum keeps building, a new identity is born. You're no longer just taking disciplined actions. You become a disciplined person. But the journey isn't over yet because the final level of discipline isn't limited to habits and consistency alone. There's a level where a person starts consciously designing their own future, where they stop being a victim of circumstances and become the architect of their own destiny. And that's the most powerful transformation waiting for us at our final stop. Chapter 6. Becoming the architect of your future self. Imagine that 5 years from today, you're looking back at your life. There are two different pictures in front of you. In the first, you're the same person you are today. The same excuses, the same unfinished goals, the same postponed decisions, and the same regret of wishing you had changed yourself in time. The second picture is completely different. You're confident, focused, financially and mentally strong. You've achieved your big goals, and people are amazed watching your success. Now, the most important question is, what's the difference between these two pictures? Luck? Talent? Opportunity? No. The biggest difference between them is the small, disciplined decisions you start making from today. Many people think self-discipline means controlling yourself, but the real truth goes much deeper. The final level of self-discipline isn't self-control, it's self-creation. Becoming someone who intentionally designs their own life, who doesn't wait for circumstances, but decides their own direction. This is where you stop just following habits and start building your future self. Here's a powerful fact. Every day, your actions are writing the story of your future, whether you notice it or not. When you study today, learn a skill, exercise, or work on a meaningful goal, you're not just working in the present, you're strengthening your future self. On the other hand, when you keep choosing comfort, procrastinating, and breaking your commitments, you're still building a future. The only difference is that it probably won't be the one you actually want. This is why disciplined people see every decision as a vote. Every action is a vote for the person you want to become. If you want to be a focused person, vote for focus. If you want to be healthy, vote for healthy choices. If you want to be successful, vote for daily effort. Gradually, these votes come together to shape your identity. But here's another deep truth to understand. Life will never be perfect. Challenges will always come. There will be days without motivation, days with failure, days when people won't support you, days when results arrive later than you hoped. But these are exactly the moments where self-discipline is truly tested. Because discipline isn't about doing the right thing on easy days. Discipline is about staying on the right path even on the hard ones. Remember, success isn't an event, it's a process. No single big decision changes your life. Your life changes through the hundreds of small decisions you make every day. And that's why self-discipline is the most powerful psychological skill in the world. It teaches you to rise above your emotions. It teaches you to choose long-term purpose over temporary pleasure. And most importantly, it makes you the creator of your own future. Now, as this journey reaches its final stop, one question stands before you. Which path will you choose in the days ahead? The path that's easy but keeps you exactly where you are today, or the path that's hard but turns you into the person you've always dreamed of becoming? The decision happens today because your future isn't built on someday. Your future is built every single day, and maybe it's already begun, starting from this very moment. Conclusion. Now pause for a moment and think about your life. Throughout this journey, we've learned that our biggest battle isn't with the outside world, it's with our own mind. We've seen how our brain runs toward comfort and instant pleasure, how our identity shapes our actions, how delayed gratification can take us from ordinary to extraordinary, how environment and habits influence our decisions, and how small daily actions come together to create unstoppable momentum. But out of all of this, there's just one message that matters most. The power to change your life has always been inside you. You don't need any new strength. You just need to learn how to use the strength you already have in the right direction. Remember, self-discipline isn't a punishment. It's the path to freedom. It brings you closer to the life you truly want to live. Every time you say no to a distraction, you're saying yes to your dreams. Every time you take action despite difficulty, you make your future self stronger. And every time you keep your commitment, you build a person you can be proud of. Maybe today your goals feel too big. Maybe it feels like the destination is still far away. But remember, every great achievement begins with one small step. You don't need to see the whole staircase. You just need to take the next step. Because over time, those small steps become your identity, and that identity becomes your destiny. So before you finish this video today, make yourself one promise. You won't wait for motivation. You won't wait for the perfect time. You won't wait for tomorrow. Whatever change you need, you'll start it today. Because a year from now, you'll either look back on this day with pride or you'll regret why you didn't start. The choice, as always, is in your hands. If this video added value for you, please like it and write "I choose discipline" in the comments so you can declare your commitment to the world. And if you want more powerful books, life-changing ideas, and success psychology videos like this one, don't forget to subscribe to the Bookpedia channel. See you in the next great journey. And until then, remember, your habits build your future, and your future begins with the decisions you make today.